Jo, hovno, oni to přeložili, tak to je super, to bych si pustil, já jsem se na to totiž nedělal s titulkama. Tenhle pán je slepej a myslím si, že od narození. On byl narozený slepej, což mě přijde ještě víc fascinující v tom, že on vlastně neví. To je strašně zajímavý. Když někdo oslepne ve 20 letech, třeba dám příklad, tak už viděl západ slunce, viděl barvy a má to ve svý mysli. Chápeš, má to ve svý mysli, má to v té hlavě, tam to prostě je, on si to nějak pamatuje. Dokáže si to představit, v té představě ty barvy už jsou. Ale on je nikdy neviděl. On nikdy neviděl knihu, on se jí dotkne, on se dotkne papíru, jako pozná, že to je hmota, ale on to nikdy neviděl. Nikdy neviděl západ slunce a neví, jak vypadá oranžová. On to neviděl, takže když zavře ty oči, má představu o barvách, jakože... Rozumíš, co myslím? Má mozek v sobě zakódovaný klasickou duhový barvy, jakože se tam můžou objevit při zamotání hlavy, nebo ne, vole. Víš, co mu v tom... No, on to tady popisuje, počkej.
I guess one of the things you guys are the most curious about is color. How does it work for me? What is it?
No.
I don't know.
To je chudák, ty vole. Ale... Takže... To je v piči, no.
So being blind since birth, I've never seen color. I don't have any concept of what it is. I mean, I've never seen anything. But there's this whole part of vocabulary, of language.
No jasný.
That doesn't mean anything to me. Over the years, there's people have tried to explain color to me.
Ale on to neví, on to nemůže chápat, když to nikdy neviděl. To je na tom úplně fascinující. Proto když se bavíme o mimozemšťanech, kurva kalma, jo. Tak my si taky neumíme představit, co můžou mít za technologii, protože jsme ho nikdy neviděli. My si to ani, a to máme už jako představy. A víš jak? Ale nemůžeme si to ani, víš jak my máme představit barvy, všechno, technologie, filmy, ty vole, inspirace, ale stejně si to nemůžeme jako, člověk řekne, zelená vypadá jako tráva, on tu trávu nikdy neviděl. Ne, on se jenom dotkl. On to nemůže, tak tomu nevysvětlíš.
I think the best way to show you is to try and explain to someone who's never heard before what the ocean sounds like or what the birds sound like.
No. Víš, co to uděláš jako zvukem?
And that's where color is for me. Because somebody who's never heard doesn't know what those things are, has no concept, none. And people will try and explain a sense with another sense. It's like the way this smells, maybe that's what a particular color, what? So you're going to tell me you're going to explain what color looks like by my nose?
To je pičovina, vole, to nejde, vole.
That doesn't make any bloody sense at all. So when somebody says something's red to me, I don't quite get it. I know that red is fire, or a stop.
On ani neví, jak ten oheň vypadá. On neví, jak vypadá, když plápolá oheň, ty vole. Kámo, on je od narození slepej, takže on neví, jak to vypadá. On ví, že to pálí, ale neumí si představit, jak to nádherně plápolá. Ty vole, to je smutný a on to vlastně... Ty vole, fakt je to dár, že vidíme do piči, jenom to je fakt dár.
Stoplight is red.
No, ale on neví, jak vypadá semafor. Je hustý, že ho to naučili vlastně. Odmala. Hele, tady stůj, tady je věc, která ukazuje barvy. What the fuck? Ukazuje barvy. A když je tam červená, tak nesmíš jít. On neví, co je červená, neví, jak vypadá semafor, ale musel se to naučit. To je fakt fascinující.
Someone says you're in the red. You know, that means you're in some trouble, like financial trouble. Again, just stuff that I picked up from hearing about it. But I don't know what it looks like. Blue.
Zima, no.
Blue is the water is blue?
Ale jak vypadá voda? Víš co, on neví, jak vypadá voda. On si to ani neumí představit. On podle mě nemá představivost, rozumíš? Chápeš, on neviděl čtverec, kolečko, trojuhelník, takže i když si šáhne na to, tak vnímá, že je to kulatý, ale on neví, jak to vypadá asi. Jestli to má odlesky, jestli, víš co, on jenom ví ten tvar, on udělá, že to je takový. A ví, že to je kruh, ale představit si ho podle mě neumí. On si neumí představit kruh. On ví, že ten kruh je... No neumí, myslíš, že když se toho dotkne. Máš tady tohle. Takže on si šáhne a ví, že to je čtverec. A myslíš teď, že se mu v hlavě nakreslí nějakou barvou čtverec. Mě jo, když si to představím, tak klidně si nakreslím teďka oranžový čtverec v hlavě. Abych si ten tvar představil. Ale on to neví. Barvou asi ne, ale on nemá žádnou barvu v hlavě. Ani černou, ani šedou, ani bílou, ani tvar, ani nic. Si to osahá. Ale on to neví. On si zapamatuje podle hmatu. Ano, ale pak se dotkne něčeho a řekne si, ano, to je to, jak jsem šahal na to minule. Ale on neví, jak to... On ten čtverec se mu nenakreslí v hlavě. No jasně si vzpomene na tvar, ale má jenom pocity z doteku. Přesně. On si vzpomene na ten pocit doteku, ne na ten tvar. Chápeš, jak to myslím, ne? Potřebuješ vidět, aby si věci představil. No to teda musíš, vole, protože on nikdy nic neviděl. Chápeš to? To je to, co řekl jsi teď. Že nepotřebuješ vidět, ale on nic nikdy neviděl. No ale jak si to může jak si může něco vizualizovat, když on nikdy nic neviděl? On nikdy neviděl, jeho mozek neví, z čeho má skládat ty vizualizace. On nikdy neviděl žádný tvar, žádnou barvu, žádný odlesk, žádnou věc. On nikdy neviděl žádnou věc. Takže on nemá vizualizaci, podle mě. Takže jeho mozek nevytváří obrazy při doteku jako náš, že si vizualizuje. Vizualizace už je obraz v mozku. On nemá obraz v mozku, on má jenom pocit, on neviděl nikdy nic, podle mě. Jeho mozek to vytváří hmatem. Ano, ale on to nemůže vytvořit. Jeho mozek vytváří hmatem pocit, na co šáhl, ale nevytvoří mu vizualizaci té věci, protože on nikdy žádnou neviděl. On neviděl rovnou čáru nikdy v životě. On neviděl zaoblenou čáru nikdy v životě. On se jí jenom dotkl.
Black. What's black? Black is supposed to be all the colors all.
Víš? Ty řekl, že zná černou. Ne. On nezná černou. Já nevím, jestli vidí bílé, nebo nic, nebo on nezná černou. Víš co? Černá. Co je černé? Tak mu řekneš to, co vidíš ty, ale on nevidí černou. To je v piči.
All smushed together. And then white is the absence of color? So when I hear black and white, to me they're just opposites, right? Because one has everything and the other has none. And then there are things that don't have color. Like water. But it doesn't have color, but the ocean does. I don't get that. Color is hard. How do you sighted people keep them all straight? You've asked me about vision and about how much I understand of it and how it works. And, you know, is it something that I can wrap my head around, or is it just a perception to me, or what? I'm not sure I understand the question, so we'll see if you can understand my answer.
To je šéf.
Vision is an incredible thing. Like, I have no idea how it works. The things that you guys are able to do blows my mind. And the things you're not able to do too. Like, you can't see in the dark. You know, and your eyes have to adjust to it and stuff. That's, wow. You know, in the dark, I get around perfectly fine. You know what I mean? One of the things that blows my mind is depth perception. Like,
on neví, jak vypadá.
You know how far away things are. For example, so you're driving a car. You're driving like 45 miles an hour.
Je hustý, jak ví ty věci, ale jako to je fascinující. On nevidí černě.
And then there's a red light. And you just slow down gently, and boop, and you're right into position, and you're right next to another car or whatever it is, and you're right at the light. I don't know if I quite understand how that all works.
No. Ty pičo,
Like, there's a crowded room, right? A room full of people. And across the room, you see one of your friends, and you know that you can just walk right through that crowd and find them. And, you know, and just keep your eye on them, and you get right to them. It's really cool to me.
Ty pičo. On vlastně neví, jak to to je přesně o čem mluvím. On neví, jaký to je se otočit a teď vidět obraz, jak se pohybuje. Teď vidíš začátek auta, odlesk, vole, ze světel, odlesk z měsíce. A teď vidíš to auto, jak se leskne, teď toho člověka, teď víš co, to je mazec.
Like, for me, I don't know unless they come up or they shout across the room like, hey, come here. You know, and then I try and navigate my way through the people with my cane and stuff. And, you know, and that's how it works for me. But it's really cool that you guys can see that. I mean, this one ain't going to be very funny, I don't think, but I feel bad. There's not going to be a lot of laughs in this one.
To nevadí, kámo. Víš co, nikdy neuvidí. Je fascinující, kolik si z toho můžeš vzít. On nikdy neuvidí, ty vole, víš co, padat listí na podzim, západ slunce, ty vole. Rostlinu prostě vykvetlou, nádhernou, to je, ty pičo.
being able to catch a ball is neat. Like, you know, someone has to tell me, okay, there's a ball coming to you, hands out, you know, and try and catch it. But you guys just see, I mean, you always see these clips of people like on ESPN.
On teď vlastně mluví o tom, jak nechápe nás, víš co.
And stuff, who have an ice cream in one hand and they catch a foul ball in the other.
On prostě ani neví, co znamená hodit tenisák, neumí si to představit. No to je to, co mě fascinuje. On ví, jaký je jeho tělo, on ví, že má ruku, neví, jak vypadá ta ruka. Jasně, když se jí dotkl, tak ví, že má prsty, ale on neví, jak ty prsty... On si neposkládá ten obraz v hlavě, on nemá obrazy v hlavě. Takže on ví, že má ruku a ví, že ruku zvedne a ví, že takhle udělá. Ale pro něj to je pocit. Pro něj on si nedovede představit zvedlou ruku, podle mě, jak vypadá v té ruce míček, já to vidím, víš co. On si tohle neumí představit.
It's incredible. I don't know how you guys do that. I mean, like at a baseball game,
To neví, jak vypadají vlasy, neví, jak vypadá je prostě tvar obličeje. On dotekem, ale jemu se neudělá ten obraz v hlavě.
Listen, I know the odds are a zillion to one, but I'm always afraid, like if I'm at a baseball game and a friend of mine, you know, runs, you know, goes off to get something or runs to the bathroom, whatever, and I'm sitting by myself, I'm always scared to death that I'm going to get hit with a foul ball, no matter where we are in the stadium. It really is scary to me, though. Another one of the things that I just don't understand is how you can draw a three-dimensional thing on a piece of paper, on a flat piece of paper. Like I tried to draw.
To chci vidět. To jsem tam viděl, jak zkoušel malovat. To chci vidět, protože to...
Look, I'll show it up to you. So this is the way I drew it. He's called Spot.
Can you draw a picture of what you think things look like?
Drawing for me is sort of a weird thing. I mean, everything in my world is three-dimensional. Everything, right? Everything I touch or experience. So it's very difficult for me to imagine putting a three-dimensional thing onto a flat piece of paper.
Takže všechno je třidimenzionální, takže jemu se to takže se mu to vytváří v hlavě 3D.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Počkej,
you know what I mean?
počkej, vole.
So this ought to be interesting. I'm dying to see what we come up with here. You ask for things like a cat or a dog, right? So
Jak to, že nic nikdy neviděl a dokáže vytvořit 3D věc v hlavě?
A picture of myself, a little piggy. Somebody wanted to see a
Já ti rozumím, že pochopí jako 3D koncept, ale jak se mu to objeví? Teď on se mu nemůže udělat obrázek, víš co, v hlavě.
Giraffe or an elephant or even a rainbow.
Ale jeho mozek, to je v piči. Jeho mozek vytváří obraz, ne oči, ale oči nikdy. On neviděl obraz, to znamená, že ani jeho mozek neviděl nikdy obraz. Tím pádem jeho mozek nemá tuhle složku, obraz, tvar a tak. Rozumíš, co myslím? On to nenačetl nikdy. On to nikdy nenaloudoval, on to nikdy neproskenoval, aby se mu to nahrálo do toho mozku. On říká, že si uvědomuje, že svět je trojdimenzionální. Chápu.
Someone wanted to see me draw the world. See, those things are a little tricky for me because I've never touched them or felt them, so I don't know what they are. So I think it's got to be just things that I've experienced.
A kitty cat.
Okay? We'll just try and draw one. I mean, I've seen them before. We had them as pets.
Už jsem je viděl. Počkej.
Pets and stuff, so.
Co? Byl narozen slepý, vole. Tak teď ten píči, co? Asi see pro něj znamená dotknout.
Let's try a kitty. We'll do a round little head.
Kulatou like hlavu. To...
Okay. Some sort of triangle kitty ears. Right. No triangle.
Vidíš? Trouhelník.
Two eyes.
To je pro něj trouhelník. Víš, jak to myslím?
See, the thing that's hard to do is to remember where you've been.
On nezná trouhelník, ne 3D. On nezná... Chápeš? On nezná 3 čáry takhle.
You know what I mean? So let's put a nose on him. So there. So we have a kitty head and it doesn't really have a mouth. Should we just put a couple teeth in him? I don't know. He's a healthy cat. He loves to eat. Look at the teeth on him. Oh, he's ferocious. Like, so the back of the kitty, right? So he's down like this and sort of like that, right? He's got the legs. And the leg over
je
here,
docela jako...
and little feet.
Chápe.
Over his kitty cat tail. Right up it goes. Right? Why do cats do that anyway? I think that's a kitty now. I know he's only got over his kitty cat tail.
Cože dělají
Right up
kočky?
it goes. Right? Why do
dělají?
cats do that anyway?
Co?
I think that's a kitty now. I know he's only got 2 legs, but from where I'm sitting, this is all I can see of the kitty. You can almost hear him purr, can't you? So I'm gonna look at the car from the side, like from where I'd come into the car,
Jasně, z boku. No jasně, on to ne... No jasně.
passenger side. We'll start with our wheels. Right, so I use my hand here to remember where the left tire was. So we go all the way around like this. Nice circle. All the way over here.
Výkruh, jako, že jo, on si to představí, on si představí, co dělá rukou, podle mě, když se toho dotkne. Protože kruh v hlavě se mu objevit nemůže. To nedokážu pobrat, to já. Třeba může, ale i ten, jak má ta hlava si vytvářet obraz v hlavě, když nikdy... Jsem píči.
Okay, so all the way around in a circle. Now we'll make the doors here.
O vizuální představivost. Ale jak ji má získat? Jo, sorry. Jo, no jasný. Sorry, už jsem tě chtěl zmrdat. Se naučil, jaký to má tvár. Ale podle hmatu, on nemá vizuali. On ví rukou, že udělá tohle. Aby se dotkl toho kola. On ví, že udělá tohle. On ví, víš, jak to myslím, ale mu se nezobrazí v hlavě podle hmatu nic.
Our back door. So there we go. Hop in, everybody. What's next here?
Yourself.
That should be easy, right? See myself all the time. Well, we're going to start from the top here, and we'll start with, like, the forehead. See, and then down here, look, we could draw, like, an eye, right? There's the top and the eyebrows and stuff. Oh, a little far. But look, see, and then a circle inside.
On se to ani nemůže dotknout, co kreslí.
Then we put the nose here. For me, the nose is a triangle somehow, but put the eyebrows in again, right? The round eye in the middle. Now down below our nose here, we'll put the mouth. There's the teeth, and there's, oh boy, this is hideous. Okay, and then my broad shoulders over here, see? Let's put an arm on the end of that, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. Now if we could remember where our other shoulder was here. And again, some fingers. This is like a front view, right? So you're looking right at me. Can
To je hezčí, pane.
I just take this paper? I'm going to show you. Look, you probably can't even tell which is which now. Okay?
On ani nemůže, ty
Pro
vole.
něj je hmatový pocit v hlavě, jako je pro tebe vizuální obraz
No.
v hlavě. Easy ne.
Jakoby jo, no. Prostě. To vypadá hochu, připomíná to jako mimozemšťana.
Jsem tak moc vděčnej, že jsem dostal možnost vidět barvy,
No.
věci a přírodu.
Hodně si to neuvědomujem, teď když to vidím, ty vole, tak je to fakt...
It's tricky, right?
To je šéf, ty vole.
Ask me, what do blind people see? What?
Jo, no to je otázka, kurva. To je šéf. To je what? Co vidí slepí lidé? Jo, no, co to je kurva za otázku do píč.
People have asked me this my entire life. They always
Well.
want to know, what do you see? What? Like, you must see something. You have to see something. No, I don't see anything. And that's a 5-hour conversation.
Trojrozměrný svět si představíš a pochopíš jednoduše. Můžeš v něm jít nahoru nebo dolů, doprava nebo doleva a dopředu nebo dozadu. On nechápe, jak na dvourozměrný
Chápu.
papír nakreslíš to dopředu nebo dozadu. Ale samotný dvourozměrný kruh si představí.
Nepředstaví. Jako obraz si ho nepředstaví. On si ho představí jako sérii doteků a hmatových věmů. Jak říkáš, jak to tady někdo řekl, že jejich sny jsou zvuky, emoce, třeba i vůně a hmatový věmy.
Sighted people often talk about seeing, like, well, then you must see black. Well, no, because you have to see to know what black is.
Tak víš
Right?
bíle.
So, therefore, I can't see black. It's just nothing. I don't have a color with it. When you guys can't see anything, that's what you see. But for me, it's not like that. All I see is light or dark. That's it. I mean,
No. A jak to vypadá? Oranžově nebo když ti svítí slunko do očí, tak vidíš oranžově. Ty nevíš, co je oranžová, brácho. Pane. Kurva, tak prostě svítí to, je to silný. Jak dokáže vidět světlo a tmu? No on vidí podle mě... Jakoby když mu zavalíš baterkou do očí, tak... Nevím, vole. Počkej, vidíš. Vydrž.
The presence or the absence of light in a room or in a
Takže to vidí.
space. That's all I can distinguish. That's it. There are no shapes, there are no shadows. But if there
Žádné tvary.
were shapes and stuff, it'd be great.
No.
My shins and knees would be so grateful. Holy mackerel. It'd be awesome.
Takže nevidí tvary, vidíš?
So if I walk into a room during the day, I can sort of tell, you know, like if the sun's coming through.
Jak to?
Like walking through the lobby at work, I can really get a sense of the sun because I can pick it up, you know, and it's pouring through this window, you know.
Teplo, ale když je zhasnuto v místnosti rozsvíceno, tak asi jeho oči jsou citlivý na světlo a tmu, na takovej ten... Prostě nevidí nic, no? Má tak třeba 5%, poznají světlo tmu víčka, ale to je jediné.
In the front of the building, it's great. And you know what? Perhaps I can feel the heat from it a little bit too.
No.
That's nuts. I don't. But it's just I can see
Ne, jako to podle mě cítí, hochu.
this light. Just that there's a light source, I think is the best way to put it. It's like a sound in a room almost, right? If there's like a whir or something in a room, you can find that sound. So if there's a light source, you know, like the sun coming through that window, I can tell. You guys can see all the differences in the different types of light, but I can just tell that there is light. It's not soft or hard or white or blue or whatever. It's a really hard thing to get your head around. See, that would be like me trying to get my head around seeing. So I've been blind since birth, so I've never seen anything in my life. So one of the things that you guys wonder about is if I can see in my dreams. And I think because I've never seen it in real life, my subconscious doesn't know what it'd be like to see either. So no, I don't see in my dreams. I mean, the way it works for me is just the way my life occurs, right? So it's all smell, sound, taste, and touch. That's all there is. Just like your life works. I mean, you see in your life, so obviously you'd see in your dreams. I mean, just like you guys, right? Weird things happen in dreams. I mean, so here I am. It's the bottom of the ninth. Runners on second and third. 2 men away. And all of a sudden, it's my 7th birthday. Strange.
Takže tomu se to zdá, ale vlastně emočně. To, jak se cítil v té době, to, jak se cítil na ty narozeniny, to, jak se cítil, když šel autem, to, jak se cítil, když najednou jedl, to, jak se cítil, když zakopl, tak tyhle věci se mu zdají. Ale jenom jako pocitově, emočně a jako zvukem a tak.
Evan, out of kind of lying, wants to know how my
Jak mu řekli rodiče, že je slepý. Jak chci říct dítěti, hele, ostatní vidí věci. A on jakože co? No, ty nevidíš věci, my je vidíme, my vidíme barvy, co jsou barvy? My vidíme, what the shit? My vidíme to všechno kolem nás, to, co ty nevidíš. Hej, to musí být, what the fuck? To musí být, jak když bys... To je šílený, ty vole. Vem si, že třeba bys ty žil někde a ostatní by viděli odmala něco víc. Všichni. Většina kolem tebe by viděli kolem další bytosti, ufa, vole, věci. A někdo by ti v 8 letech řekl, hele, ty postrádáš jeden smysl. A tobě by to nepřišlo. Co? Já snad, no máš žiju, ne? Ne, ty postrádáš jeden smysl, ty nevidíš to, co my. My vidíme normálně tady na nebi, jako normálně lodě, věci, vole, takový tvary, který ty nemůžeš nikdy vidět, ani ti je neumím jako vysvětlit. Prostě tvary, různý hmoty a tak všude vidíme. A ty to nevidíš. Tobě by to přišlo jako, že, ale já vidím, jako, víš, já všechno jako vnímám. Jako, víš, jako, doufám, že mě chápete. Že by mě to pak zajímalo celý život. No, on jakoby, vem si, že by se mu snažil popsat třeba film. Víš, jako on to nikdy nevidí. To je, jak kdyby se ti otevřel další svět. On žije v tom svým a najednou ti řekne, hele, kolem nás my můžeme vidět úplně všechno. A takhle, vem si, že by takhle někdo přišel říct teď ve 30. Hele, teď jako ti chci říct, že my vlastně celý život vidíme úplně to, co ty ne. A prostě ty z toho od narození nemáš tuhle schopnost. Ty bys to nechápal, že jako, jak to?
folks told me I was blind. See, I was born blind, so it's sort of all I've ever known. I don't know if there was a particular date when they sat me down and went, listen, kid, we got bad news for you. You're not like your sisters. You can't see. What does that mean? I don't know if there was a moment where I realized that other people could see and that I couldn't. I mean, just because everybody around me could, right? That's all I've ever known. I never met anybody who couldn't see
Čemu to
for a
došlo?
long time.
No,
I think the voice inside my head was saying, you know what, it's okay. I mean, everybody else can see. It just was the way life was and is. Because it's our own normal, right? I mean, everything you do...
Myslím si, že pro něj je snazší, teď nevím, je to otázka, ale myslím si, že pro něj je snazší, že nevidí od narození, protože je to pro něj norma. On o nic nepřišel, rozumíš? On o nic nepřišel vlastně. Pro něj to je norma. On takhle je od narození. On prostě pro něj to není jako něco, že ty pičo najednou nevidím tenkrát. On ho nikdy neviděl. Víš co, myslím si, že když ale zase si ty věci neumí představit. Teď někdo oslepne ve 30 a dovede se ty věci představit, ale přišel o zrak, což si myslím, že je úplně fatální. Proto říká, že to je pro něj normální. No.
Like your life is completely normal to you. No matter what you experienced when you were growing up. But that was your thing. And you look at other people's lives and go, wow, how'd you put up with that? How'd you make it through that? Or boy, isn't it cool you had all this growing up, or you didn't have anything growing up. But that was your normal. So this was my normal. I just, I couldn't see. I wish I had some comedy here for this, but it was a very serious question. Evan, let's talk about you. What do you mean by kind of lying? What is this? Huh? What are you, a politician? This question is a lot more common than you'd think. I've gotten it all over the place. And the question is, what does a blind person experience on psychedelics? Whoa! Oh, sorry.
Co jsi měl, bráchu?
I really have gotten this question a bunch. People are curious about, can blind people have hallucinations, or maybe could blind people even see on psychedelic drugs? So here's the thing. I'm blind since birth, right? So I've never seen. Therefore, my mind doesn't know how to see. My brain doesn't know how to see. So, a drug wouldn't be able to make me see.
Ty emoce by se umotaly.
If it could, don't you think I'd take it every day? People talk about different things that they see when they take these kinds of drugs. They see different sort of hallucinations. They see the walls breathe, perhaps. Or they see trails coming off of things. None of those things would work for me, right? It just wouldn't work. It's sort of like dreaming, right? Because I don't know how to see, so therefore I couldn't dream that I could see, right? Because again, my brain doesn't know how to do that. However, I think that you could experience audible hallucinations. In other words, if you heard a soda machine, for example, or maybe a refrigerator or something like this with kind of a constant whir, that might sound to somebody like a crowd of people, or who knows, your mind can play all sorts of tricks on you.
Jak říkám, jemu by se mixovaly ty emoce, to, co když slyšel, ty vole, nahlas, málo nahlas, teď někoho mluvit třeba, ty vole, víš, nějaký emoční pocity, jako teplo, zima, tohle.
Sometimes if you stay up for a really long period of time, like all night or even longer, they say people begin to hallucinate and they start to see things and hear things and like that. I've never really even had that, I've stayed up for a good long time, many times in my life, and I've never really had any of that kind of thing. I just get tired, you know what I mean? And tired and silly. I just get real punchy and just start, saying crazy things and just being a general nut. I've even heard that people, like when they're driving, they start to see things on the road and stuff. Or driving for a really long time, your mind starts to play tricks on you. I think if you do anything for a really long time, your mind is going to start to play tricks on you. See, that's the coolest thing about sight. I mean, there's a lot of cool things about sight, right? You can see all kinds of things around you, but it blows my mind that you can see things that don't exist. I wish I could hear things that didn't exist.
To by se podle mě stalo, kdyby se navalil.
I do. Like that. Did you hear that?
Oh, yes.
Nah, me neither. I gotcha. See, I tricked you.
Jako podle mě, kdyby se...
I'm not sure if I've ever seen a movie that really showed me what this feeling was like. I suppose in Big Lebowski, right? There's parts of that where he's sort of going into a different place while they're playing that Kenny Rogers song.
On si pouští filmy a jakoby vnímá je na základě zvuku a toho, co říkají, ne? To je hustý. Mě zajímalo, který by si filmek jako takhle... What the fuck? No piči. No jo, děkuju ti chlape.
Like a lot of times when
Děkuju, Fince mrde.
people are taking drugs in movies, they'll put a little bit of a reverb behind it, or maybe some echo, and add some other voices, you know, in both channels. They really don't focus on the audio hallucinations in motion pictures. They're more concerned with the visual ones. So there have been recordings, for example, Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon is an incredible piece of music. It really is. And it's so well produced.
Ty vole, ten by ti
Right? And there's
zhodnotil.
all sorts of little effects in it. There's heartbeats in it. There's the bit like right before time with all the clocks and stuff, and it gets real quiet, and all you can hear is the ticking clocks. And then that one first, you know, and all the clocks are going off at once. And The Wall is really good for that too, from Pink Floyd. Those guys are into that. They're into creating these like audio illusions, you know, or I suppose it's not really an audio illusion. They're more into putting you in a particular place, you know, having the music really come alive. So, you know, maybe listen to The Wall from Pink Floyd. I don't know. Don't take that stuff. Listen, you take that shit, you go blind, okay?
Prej neberte ty drogy nebo oslepnete.
Boy, you sighted people came up with another dilly, didn't you?
Tady je to.
This question's been coming up a little bit in the comments lately. What does a blind person imagine when someone refers to an object?
No, to je ono, chat, máme tady odpovědi.
Like, do you visualize something in your mind? Being blind since birth, I don't really visualize anything, right? Because I don't know how to see, and my subconscious doesn't know how to see. When I think about something, I suppose I think about its properties. You know, I think about what that thing is, or its shape, or its size. But I think about my memory of it. For example, if you were to talk about a baseball, I remember what one feels like. Now, I haven't felt one in a while, but I remember it's got the stitching on it. It's round, it's dense, you can't squeeze it. You know, I remember the approximate size of it. You know, so I imagine what it feels like. That's what I go by. Not a picture like you guys.
No, vidíš, on to pocit prostě.
But it's something. So, Ben, why don't you name off a couple of things, and I'll describe what I think about when you say these things. I won't see it in my mind, but I can tell you about the things I remember.
On je neuvidí v té mysli, ani ten tvar, to je to, o čem jsme mluvili. Že on si to nevizualizuje obrazem, ale emocema, pocitem, dotekem.
This is very strange, but I think you'll get it.
Okay, a bottle of soda.
I think about a bottle of soda, I think about the shape of it, like a Coke bottle, for example. I think about the plastic, I think about the cap, I think about the approximate size of it, the label, those things on the bottom, you know, so it doesn't fall down, the 5 things there. And that's what I think about when I think, and that it's cold to the touch, generally, if it's been in the fridge. It's so strange, because I mean, I do remember the shape, but I remember the shape in my hands, right? I couldn't imagine a bottle of soda on a table because I'd have to be touching it to know it was there. I see the shape through my hands. I don't see it with my eyes. I have to touch it.
Tak tohle mě nenapadlo zkombinovat dvě věci. On ví, jak vypadá stůl, třeba jo, a teď na to položí tu láhev, ale on se nemůže dotknout těch dvou věcí, jakož, jak vypadá, když ta láhev stojí na tom stole. Jestli to takhle jako řek.
Right? I couldn't imagine a bottle of soda on a table
No jasný.
because I'd have to be touching it to know it was there. I see the shape through my hands. I don't see it with my eyes. I have to touch it. So I
Vidím tvář s těma rukama, no tím pocitem.
remember it always from my perspective.
How about a banana?
A banana. Okay. When I think of a banana, I imagine touching one. So I'm imagining the sort of cylindrical object with a bit of a bend to it and that skin. And, you know, it's in a bunch. It's attached to the others up at the top. And that's what I think of with a banana. And maybe if it's been sitting around for a little bit, it's starting to smell more like a banana. When it comes to the color of banana, I don't really think about that part. I'm not quite sure. I think a banana's yellow. I wouldn't think of the color because I don't see the color, and the color doesn't mean anything to me. I'm more interested in the shape and the size of it, and the texture.
No jasný. No jasný.
How about a car?
See, a car is more difficult for me to imagine
Je velký.
because I can't hold it in my hand, right? Like a big station wagon or an SUV or something like that. But I think of the parts, right? So I think of the door of where I'm going to get in. I think about the seats inside. You know, maybe over on the driver's side, I think about the steering wheel and all that kind of stuff that's over there. But, you know, and the pedals on the floor. But I can't think of it as a whole. When I do the car, pedals on the floor.
Takže si musel stáhnout na pedály někdy. Tak víš, že jelou, protože to naučili ho to jako.
But I can't think of it as a whole. When I drew the car in a past video,
může model
I had to
auta.
think about all the different pieces of the car, right? The different parts of it, and how I could put it together on a piece of paper for you to look at. But when
Jasně, ale když mu dáš angličák do ruky, já ti chápu, no.
I think of a car, I just think about one part at a time. I mean, again, I can't imagine an entire car because I've never touched an entire car all at once.
When somebody says an iPhone, what pops in your mind?
Immediately, I think of the shape. Well, first off, I think of my own iPhone, okay? I have a 6. So I think about the shape of it, the rectangle. I think about the
Řekneš obdélník, ale on popisuje obdélník pocitem, ne obrazem. Víš, jak to myslím, kurva.
thickness of it, the texture of it, and then I imagine the buttons on the side and the home key at the bottom. And that's, boom, what's in my mind when you say iPhone. You know, I only think of the one that I know the best. It's so strange. I mean, of course I imagine it, but I just don't do it in the way that you do.
No jasně, no jasně.
When I say imagine, I'm talking about, you know, what I feel and what I remember, right? Because it's all from memory. But when you say
To je
about,
důležitý, že co cítí a co si pamatuje vlastně to. Ne ten obraz, jak říkáš.
you know, what I feel and what I remember, right? Because it's all from memory. But when you say visualize, I can't do that. Because to visualize means to look at it and to see a picture of it, and I don't. To visualize something for me is to remember what it feels like, and maybe even what it smells like. You know what I mean? It's fascinating that people can visualize things in their mind. But with time, it must change. For example, for me, like my mom's been gone for an awfully long time now. And I remember her voice, but I'm sure it's not even close. I haven't heard a recording of it in years. So it's changed through time. And I would imagine that's what happens to your memories too, your visual ones, of something that you can only see once or something that you haven't seen for years. I can't imagine that you'd be able to keep an image of it that perfect in your mind. It would have to change over time. And that's like what sound does to me and what, you know, shapes do to me too, I guess. Memorizing shapes is a strange kind of thing, I suppose. You know, when I was a kid, for example, geometry was done in raised line drawings. That's how they did it back in the day, right? And so it would just be raised lines of a rectangle or of a triangle or of an, you know, an isosceles triangle or of an angle, an obtuse or acute angle or a square or a parallelogram, whatever it is. But I remember those shapes in raised line drawings. But at the same time, I can remember solid versions of those shapes, like from like building blocks or that kind of stuff that you'd have as a kid.
Takže je slepý, ne.
Pieces, because they're different. There's square and rectangle Lego pieces and triangle ones and stuff. You know, so that's what I remember for shapes, and that's how I was taught them. I think the moral of the story is this: the most important key here is our memories. I think that's what it is. I think that's what we base everything on. I remember things just from my memory of them. I can only imagine what I've ever experienced in my life, right? I can't imagine something I've never touched. I can wonder about it, but I can't imagine it. I can't imagine memory of them. I can only imagine what I've ever experienced in my life, right? I can't imagine something I've never touched. I can wonder about it, but I can't imagine it.
Ale to je, jako zajímavé mě, kdyby začal hrát na piano, tak no dobrý, jsme se do toho zasekli, ale dobrá halus, no. Zajímavý se na tom teď jako zamyslet, jako jak to vlastně má, no, ale říkám, je to, že on vlastně, což je jedinej, jako, jak to říct, jedinej plus v té jeho situaci je, že o to nepřišel vlastně, jo, že jeho může jenom fascinovat, jak my dokážeme to mít, ten zrak a používat ho, ale musí být strašný, když přijdeš o zrak, ty vole. Jakože tohle zrovna by bylo super, kdyby technologie dokázala lidem, ty vole, fakt vrátit, jakože v mozku nějakým způsobem, ty vole, ale vem si, co by se třeba stalo. Teďka, kdyby já jen, kolik mu už bude, třeba 60 let, může být víc, dokonce podle jednoho, možná kolem 50-60. Kdyby mu teď ten zrak zaktivovali. Jakože teď, kámo. To mi neříkej, že by nemusel pomalu nějak, vole, otvírat oči, nebo ho prvně dát do místnosti, kde bude pár věcí. Třeba skříň. Jenom fakt jakože do místnosti, kde je toho člověka, jako kde je postel jenom. aby zkusil, víš, jako a najednou to by, podle mě by ti mozek jako explodoval, že to by byl takovej overwhelming vál. Já jsem dokonce viděl někoho, komu opravili zrak. Jsou takový lidi na netu a ono je to pro ně, bolí je hlava, teď než si víš co, teď vole, to se ti musí, co se ti, ty pičo, to by se fakt snad asi zbláznil. Tady ten...
Okay, Daniel, now I'm almost ready to bring your hand down from your eyes and you'll be able to see.
Ready as I'll ever
It's
be.
okay, honey. Everything's gonna be okay.
You're doing great, Dad.
Now here we go. Oh my God.
Piče,
I've lived for nearly 30 years
30 let žil bez zraku skoro, neviděl.
with my hand over my eyes. And for most of that time I thought,
Jak to, že musel mít ruku přes oči? Tady to říká, jeho levá ruka musí být silná jako 10 000 sluncí. Proč si tam drží tu ruku? Chci mi říct, že 30 let si drží ruku, jo. Fakt, že jo. 27 let si držel ruku přes své oči. To zní jak nějaký troll video. Proč by to dělal? Není to troll video. To je vtip. To bude troll.
I'll never see again.
Dan had his hand over his eyes the day I met him.
No jo. Tak jsem trošku bejtlej, no. Trošku mě to bejtlo, kurva. Jsem si sedl, vole, a pičo, jsem si jel na tepláky.
And what I love about Dan is that he is always so strong and happy and confident, despite the fact that he can't see or use his left hand in any capacity.
Jo, takhle, on nevidí, protože tam má tu ruku, chápeš? Ona mu sundá, on vidí, že?
But now with Dr. Schaefer's help, I might finally be able to see. I might finally be able to see my wife and daughter. Sorry.
At Seeing Past Hands Foundation,
Je to troll.
our goal is
Je
to
to
give the
troll.
gift of sight back to those people like Daniel. Just 15 years ago, the only way to restore sight was to amputate the hand. But modern medicine is changing that. Today, Seeing Past Hands funds over
Že dřívější medicína musela amputovat tu ruku, přes kterou neviděli, takže ale teď už je to lepší, prej.
1,500 procedures every year to help people remove hands from their eyes. Today, we're going to do that for Daniel. Here we go. Now you want to be very careful because your eyes will be sensitive to the light. Good. Now you.
Wow!
Can you see?
Yes! Come here, Alec!
Pičoviny.
Hi, sweetie. You are more beautiful than I ever could have imagined.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Věřím, že v budoucnu pičo, Elon přivalí nějaký... Ale to je otázka, třeba to prostě nepůjde. U některých. Ale myslím si, že tomuhle pánovi, kdyby v 60 letech to najednou zaktivovali, tak se fakt jako zblázní. Opravdu si myslím, že by se zbláznil. Jak by mohl mít dceru, když měl ruku přes oči? Cože? What the fuck? Ale počkej, ale i kdyby měl ruku přes oči. Jak můžeš být své právné? Nebo jakože do piči.